Why do you say to stop chasing your dreams?
Okay, I think you're referring to like a vlog that I made, right? Well, I think later in life, I realized that the idea of chasing your dreams was something that sort of made me unhappy because you're always chasing after something, and if you don't achieve it, then you feel like you failed or you're not getting fulfillment. But what I realized, at least for me, is not about the achievement of some grand dream or, making an incredible film or anything. It's like the process of making films, being creative. That's what made me happy, and that's why I started making films in the first place. And I think like halfway into that, I kind of lost track of that because I started focusing more on, the awards or what external factors were, seeing me as. So I think when I made that video, it was my way of telling myself to like, hey, stop chasing after dreams. Just start, doing what you love. And that was telling stories and being creative in whichever way, shape, or form.
When did you stop chasing your dreams?
When did I stop chasing my dreams? See, that's a complex question because I don't think I ever stopped chasing my dreams. I think it's a constant process of me trying to pull back from this idea of chasing after something. But there's always that aspect of it that's there. And so I can't really say I stopped chasing my dreams, but I've started to try to, I guess, live my dreams, if you want to say it that way. I want to live my dream, and my dream has changed. My dream is not to, be standing up on stage, winning the Oscars or anything. Even though I fantasized about that when I was younger, now it's more like, hey, what can I do now just to get creative fulfillment, to be happy in what I'm doing? And as long as I'm doing that, then I'm living my dream already.
Do you think there's a danger in maybe what we've been fed about, reaching your goals and, you can be a success, and it puts too much pressure and maybe it's actually deflating?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think just the society in general, like Western society, the culture has so much focus on success and what that is, right? Most of the time we associate that with materials, material wealth, like making money or getting awards. And I think, and I've seen this happen to a lot of people around me, like people I knew, where they get burnt out from chasing after these successes and outside validation. And it's just not good for mental health, So, yeah.
And you grew up around the tech industry, correct? So you probably saw, who wouldn't want to start the next whatever and be ringing the bell at the NASDAQ, and have everybody cheering you on.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Cupertino, so the birthplace of Apple Computer. Steve Jobs went to a high school like right next to my high school, Homestead. And yeah, I saw that through the dot-com boom all the way until now. It's just not, in my opinion, it's not a great way to live. So yeah.
What did success mean to you when you were making your first feature film?
I think for me, personally at that time, success at that point was what I had been fed my entire life, which was make a lot of money, be a famous director. That's what my idea of success was. But when I made my first film, I didn't really have that goal of like being successful. So although my idea of success was something else, when I made that film, it was really just to make that film and tell that kind of story, because it was something very personal to me, and it was something that I hadn't seen before in movies or in the media really. So that was my goal for that film. So those two are separated.
And what was that first film?
My first film was a movie called Bang Bang.
What was it about?
It's kind of like think of like the Asian American version of Boys in the Hood. So it's like an Asian gangster movie, but not with triads. It's more about street gangs. And it's about these two friends who, one kid comes from a rich family and the other kid is from a poor family, but he's in the gang. And the rich kid wants to join the gang and be a part of that lifestyle, whereas the gangster kid wants to get out of that lifestyle and he wants to become a DJ and pursue creative path. But their two paths kind of break apart their friendship, and there's all this drama that happens along with that.
And that was shot where?
We filmed that in San Diego.
San Diego, okay. But it was supposed to take place in San Diego?
I didn't really want it to have a specific place that it was, taking place in, but it definitely has like a West Coast kind of feel. So a lot of people actually recognize the locations, and they were like, "Oh, that's San Diego. This is where I grew up." Da, da, da. But yeah.
Yeah, it's always an interesting mix of, and I've seen that before, especially if, in the Bay Area, there's a lot of great wealth, but you'll see the few people that actually maybe are almost ashamed of it and sort of want that street life. And then, of course, people that don't come from that always envy the opposite. So yeah, it's an interesting mix.
Yeah.
What does success mean to you now?
Success now is really just about, living a peaceful life, a happy life, and not necessarily chasing after wealth or, material things. And that has a lot to do with, like a few years ago, I kind of got, introduced to Buddhism and some of the ideas and philosophies behind that. I went to a meditation retreat and kind of like woke me up a little bit in terms of like what's actually important and what am I really doing, in this world. So now it's really just about, hey, just keep your mind balanced and do good things for other people, help other people. As long as you're not putting anything bad into the world, then, you're leading a good life.
Was there a certain moment, you don't have to go into personal details, but where you said, I'd like to find something in this world to kind of hold on to that has more meaning than just material value or how many views I get on whatever video?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I'm trying to pinpoint the exact time. I think, like there was a point where my third movie, Las Vegas Story, when it came out and it didn't really do that well, like it was pretty much a flop, although I had thought that I was going to get the distribution deal and all this stuff. And when it didn't happen, I think I kind of went into a dark place. And, at this time I was also trying to figure out some other things in my life. I think this is like when I was in my late 20s, which I think for most people, they do go through that transition of like figuring out what they want, right? But yeah, at that point, that's when I started really questioning, like, is chasing after success and what is success for me and why am I doing that? And who am I? A lot of these like questions. And then that's what led me to search outside. And, like, I think I just picked up a random book once and it was like Deepak Chopra's, what was it? The Mind, Body, and Spirit. And then, somehow it spoke to me. And then from there, it was like one step at a time, kind of got a little bit more into, the spiritual stuff.